Yeah, I want to go over a video here on how to lube the chain on a bike. I know a lot of people think it's simple. Like a lot of times, I use this type of stuff. It's there's a couple other brands I use. This one isn't bad. Now I got an O-ring chain on this, which is good for about 20,000 miles. Right there, they got O-rings inside, in between the plates and the rollers. But I'm going to say something else too, because you want to check your, like I got the jack underneath the frame of the bike. You want to see I'm spinning the back tire right here, just using my foot, right? And you want to check for run out in the chain. In other words, going slack, going tight. This one won't have any problems because it's virtually a new chain and virtually new sprockets. Now, you know, some people probably don't notice. You know, they might be trying to loop the chain back here by the sprocket, and you're trying to keep it away from the tire, but you don't want to do it that way. And there's a certain place you actually want to lube the chain. What you want to do is move the wheel like this. I mean, yeah, I guess you could start the engine too, but I'm not. It's just started. But what you do is down here, you can see the chain, right? You want to get it on the inside, and you want to go in this direction. In other words, you're putting it up through the sprocket first, and then it runs across the sprocket. Some of it comes off, and then it, in other words, you're getting on the inside of the chain and you're going towards the front sprocket first, and you're staying away from that tire. You can see the tire's back here, right? So I'm spraying this way. I'm spraying this way, away from the tire, like where it's actually getting inside the sprocket cover a little bit, and on the inside of the chain. Now these chains, supposedly you don't have to freaking lube them that much, but it's a good idea to do it anyway, because I found out, well, it depends on how hard you ride the bike or what kind of mileage or what kind of riding you're doing. If you're doing a lot of stop and go riding and you're taking off pretty hard, you will stretch the chain. If you're cruising down a highway and it's a nice steady cruise all the time, and it's a relatively dirt-free environment, you're not out in the desert and you're not in the rain and stuff, the chain can probably go a hell of a lot more than 20,000 miles. So, you know, but you should always check it, like when I'm turning the wheel like this, and you're not going to see the chain go up, get slack, like right here, right? You're not going to see it go slack and loose, because this one's like basically like brand new. But if you see it go slack and loose, that could be either the chain or it could be the sprockets. And a lot of times even the back sprocket will go, but usually the front sprocket gets it a little worse, you know, because it's spinning around a lot more. But make sure when you lube the chain, lube on the inside, and you spray away from the tire, so towards the front of the bike, and you rotate the wheel basically backwards, and this way it gets all on the inside of the chain, and the lube gets on the inside of the gets on the sprockets itself. Because when you're lubing the outside of the chain, a lot of times people lube the outside of the chain on the opposite side of the sprocket. It's not doing too much good. You know, it might be getting in between the plates, but it's really not. That's not really where you want it to go. You want it to go on the inside. So, and also, I want to show you how to have this bike jacked up, because I've been using this jack for a million years. This is an old Toyota jack, and it's like the perfect jack for this bike, because what it does is it's got a little slot, and I'll lower it down. It's very easy to use, you know. I'll lower it down here, and it's got a little slot. See this little slot right up here? It'll fit right in the frame. The frame's got like an 1/8 inch thick piece of steel. Fits right in there and locks it in place. Or it has a little piece of the frame that go this way, it'll lock it in place. So either I can lift up the front wheel or the back wheel with this little jack and works perfect. So, and also this is, but most jacks that are like this don't have this slot. So if you get, or the swivel head too. So if you actually get a nice, this is a nice heavy duty scissor jack, but you know, this works pretty good for a bike too. But if you get one like this, try to get one that has a swivel head on it, because sometimes they put in the frame this way, and sometimes I have it in the frame that way. Depends on what part of the frame I have it. And the 1/8 inch piece of metal sits right in there. Now, you probably might find one with a swivel head, but usually they don't have this slot, so you might want to cut that slot in there. But I found when that frame locks in there, and this thing's got a nice wide base on it, it's great, because you know, if I got to take off the front wheel or I got to do anything, I usually don't even put a block under it. I just use this jack, and I've been using this jack. It's actually from a Toyota or something, I think, or from a 70-something Toyota. And I've been using this jack on this bike since it was brand new. I had this bike since January 1st, 1990, and had the engine out a couple times and everything else, transmission out, and all kinds of stuff. I always do this. But I find, you know, it's very easy if I want to lube the chain up. That's how I do it. I make sure it gets, nothing gets on that tire. Nothing gets on that tire, and I make sure I lube the inside of the chain, and the lube is spraying this way. It's stupid little stuff, but you know what? You get a little bit of lube on that tire, or it flies off because you put it on the outside of the chain. It gets on that rear tire, and you go around a corner. A little bit of oil makes a big difference. So it's a stupid easy tip, but you pay attention because it could make a big difference.